Israel is enjoying the war. They want to keep it going. I hear that from people who should know better. Whatever you think about the Prime Minister or the way in which the Israeli government is currently prosecuting the war, let me just say this to you. The U.S. representative from Israel, Israel's ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Leiter, wonderful man. His son was one of the first casualties in Gaza. Ron Dermer, who is the closest minister, the Minister of Strategic Affairs, closer to Prime Minister Netanyahu than any other member of his inner circle, has two sons fighting in Gaza right now. If I go to a meeting at the Prime Minister's office and he has the top 8 people of his cabinet, of his administration, of his office sitting in the room, at least half of them have sons or daughters that are fighting in Gaza right now. It is an insult to them and to everyone else to say that the Prime Minister wants the war to continue. He wants to end it. He wants the hostages to come home, all of them to come home. But he wants Hamas to know they didn't win. Because if Hamas thinks they win, there'll be another October 7th, and then another, and then another. And instead of 250 hostages, there'll be 2,500 hostages. And the living hell that these families have been through will be now the sad walk of many, many other families, not just in Israel, but in the United States and across the world. Because when Hamas came over and started murdering people and kidnapping people, they did not check their passports. And that's why there were a number of Americans murdered, a number of Americans held hostage, 2 deceased Americans still in Gaza right now, Yitej Chin and Omar Nutra. Their families want their remains back to give them a proper burial, but Hamas continues to hold them. And for what purpose? Why do you hold the bodies, the remains of young people who have died? Because you don't care. That's where Israel is. And sadly, some of the European nations have decided that they're going to put pressure on Israel. They'll say, well, Israel ought to be feeding all the people in Gaza. Are you aware that Israel has sent over 2 million tons of food into Gaza already? And by the way, when I'm interviewed and I'm asked this question about the whole humanitarian effort, I just want to ask, and I do every time, just name for me, in the history of mankind, one country that was the country attacked and was expected to feed the country that attacked them while the war was still going on. Name one. You know what? You can't, because it's never happened. More food has gone into Gaza than in any war zone in human history. So why is it even possible that people could be hungry? I'll tell you why. Because Hamas steals 99%. That's the figure that the World Food Program, which is run through the United Nations, that's their number. I didn't make it up. It's not Hamas's number. It's not the number that their enemies give. It's the number they give themselves. The overall United Nations effort, 93% of the food that they send in is looted or stolen. By whom? Mostly by Hamas, because they take it, they warehouse it, they eat plenty of it. Look at any of them. They're well fed. Our hostages aren't. And then what you find out is that they take the food, they warehouse it, and then they sell it to the people who are supposed to be getting it in a humanitarian effort. And last year they made $500 million selling humanitarian food, with which they paid their terrorists, they built bombs, they bought bullets in order to kill more people. And that's why this war has continued on. So when people pretend that there needs to be something done, I will tell you, yes, there does need to be something done. Hamas needs to be defeated. It needs to go. And Israel needs to have a night's peace without a siren. That's what needs to happen. And I hope you go back